Welcome to the Bozone.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Bozone episode 8.
No, yes.
Maybe.
No, you're right.
Some
No, you're
episode.
right.
It's the next one following the previous one. Okay, we're gonna get the number correct at some point.
No, it is. It is 8.
Alright.
I forgot to change this. Now I got confused.
Okay, my memory isn't that bad yet. So, how are we doing today?
We're doing wonderfully. To any and all viewers, if you might be a little bit confused, yes, the glorious Bozone logo is gone. We have replaced it with a newer, much more good-looking logo, much more professional, drawn up by my girlfriend to, really expand on our official Bozone podcast, make it look more official.
Hell yeah, thank you, Zek's girlfriend. We never introduced ourselves. How are our viewers gonna know who's talking? So me, the not lusciously voiced one, is Tristan, and my lovely co-host with the very nice voice, smooth like butter, strong like an ox, Zek.
I like your descriptions. That's one way to put it.
So, what are we starting off with today?
This week's philosophical topic is on intelligence, and I totally didn't think of this like 5 minutes before we started.
Okay, well,
but
that's
it
not
is
something you're gonna find here. I know it's the same joke I made just now.
But yeah, I've always thought about this, and I decided to bring it up on the podcast. You can see my lack of intelligence right there, slurring my words. And the topic basically asks, how do we as humans classify and identify intelligence?
Man. Okay, you can continue first.
The Oxford Dictionary defines the word intelligence as the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. Now, what I want to bring up is obviously we as humans classify ourselves as an intelligent species. However, as an average intelligence quantity of 100, you get certain outliers like people born with genius intellect and people with medically
average
defined as disabled intellect. Now, the thing I want to bring up is if our average intelligence quantity is 100, that means, and I think it might be obvious when you think about it, but that means that statistically, 50% of the world are stupid. Or is stupid,
true.
Maybe.
Well, we're the 50% that is stupid. Okay,
Yeah.
this is just a quick English fact that I learned. If you are using singular, is ends with an S for singular. So if you're talking about a singular subject or whatever, you use is. If you're talking about multiple, it's R. So it's 50% are stupid.
That's something I get confused with, because in this instance, I'm talking about the world as a people, but the world
People
is
is
still
a
a singular. But when I'm using it as a multiple, that's where English starts confusing me. The word is singular, but I'm using it as a multiple.
By the way, guys, if you haven't realized this from episode 1 up until now, English is not our first language. So, yeah. Well, that is true. But this philosophical quandary that we have here is actually a great way to get into this flat earth nonsense that I've been seeing.
Okay, but wait, we're not done yet. There's so much more to talk about.
This is such a good thing to lead into the flat earth.
No, but it's not gonna end. It's not gonna end yet. You can lead into the flat earth debate when I'm done with intellectual.
Yes, sir.
Debate.
Yes, sir.
Because, okay, this is what I'm getting at now. We classify ourselves as an intellectual species, we as humans. Now, we also classify things like monkeys and many primates and dolphins as intellectual species, and many people would call hunting and killing them akin to murder, because that's what murder is, essentially. We classify murder as the killing of a human by another human. But where does murder and slaughter in terms of hunting and killing animals end? Why do we classify dolphins as intelligent and protected when dolphins are essentially the Nazis of the sea? Can we really classify monkeys and primates as an intelligent species when they still fling poop? The answer is, I don't fucking know.
Well,
that's what the
there are
philosophical part comes in.
There are humans that still fling poop, even in our civilized society. It's, I mean, if you go down to, what's it called, Skid Row in LA, you'll find tons of people still flinging poop. it's I don't know, it looks like that's just the nature of intelligent species, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm certain they're below the 50%. They're part of the 50% of stupid people. That's what I'm saying. There are, and I'm sure of this, people with such low intellect that they could potentially be classified as an animal, I want to say. But that brings up a whole different debate of how do we actually identify and quantify someone's brain and how they think. And I'm certain that there is not just one type of intellect. You get creativity and imagination in audio and visual fields. You get math and physics and art and so many different types of ways the mind can work that I don't think there is one set way to get an IQ score.
Hey man, I took an IQ test and I got 420. I don't know if that's good or not.
Damn. Dude, you shouldn't be piloting boats, you should be flying spaceships.
Man, I'm gonna go drive Snoop Dogg's car.
Or that.
No, but I don't know. This is a really hard question for my monkey brain. You know that one meme of the monkey that's like neuron activated?
Yeah.
I am that monkey.
It's one of those things to think about, though. Like, where do we draw the line? What if let's say dogs, for example. Some dogs are intelligent species, absolutely. German Shepherds, Dobermans, Belgian Malinois, Golden Retriever, Cane Corso, these are, and a lot more, they are all representations of a smart, learning animal. But then you get pugs and chihuahuas. And we still call them dog, and if you kill one of them, for, let's say, food, you will still be condemned because it's a dog.
Yeah. No,
I know it's a hot take, but those differences, they don't make them the same.
Yeah, but then at that point, it's the same as, like, we have the intelligent humans and then the less intelligent ones, and even though they're less intelligent, like, if you take it as a direct correlation, I know it's not, because humans and animals have their differences, and we don't just go around killing the less intelligent ones. We are still protecting them. A lot of them are in shelters or in homes of some sort. We try and protect and help everybody have a good quality of life. And the same would go for animals, whether they're intelligent, less intelligent. Unless you're a psychopath or a sociopath, or if it's for some reason of survival, I don't think it's in anyone's nature to just harm an animal, intelligent or not. It's normally...
But it is, because we need food.
That's what I said, survival. If it's not for survival...
That's the question, though. What animals do we now classify as kill them for survival, and why at certain animals like dogs and dolphins do we say no?
So,
is it just because cows and pigs taste good?
That, and also, so I know, take for instance a cow and a pig. They are much larger than a dog. Sure, you can have more dogs and feed them less, but one dog, this is gonna sound horrible, but one dog would feed a much lesser amount of people compared to one cow.
I like that point. That's a very good point.
And I know people are gonna be like, oh, what about chickens? They're so small. Well, have you seen the amount of chickens that pop out of one chicken? Like, it's crazy. I used to farm with chickens. They multiply so quickly, nowhere near as quick as dogs. So we started out with like 100, and by the end of the year we had like thousands. They multiply so quickly. It's crazy. And now people are going to be, what about bunnies? They have less meat than chicken, and some people do eat bunnies. It's not like bunnies are excluded.
Yeah, rabbits in some places you can buy rabbits in your supermarket or at your butcher. But I do like the points you brought up. How these animals that I've listed are naturally more capable of being farmed.
Food. Yeah. And now I'm also gonna hear, what about elephants and rhinos and hippos? First off, hippos you can't really eat. The fat in their meat, it's a certain kind of fat that flows right through you, and you're basically gonna shit yourself right after you've eaten it without even knowing it. So you can't eat hippo. Oh, that's a fun fact for whoever was wondering. Same with, well, I don't know about rhino, but rhinos are an endangered species, so we can't go after endangered animals. I mean, sure, we can farm with them, but even then, because it's a larger animal, they breed slower. That's the I can't remember what the law is called, but the larger the animal is, the more it what's it it prioritizes quality over quantity of offspring. So, like rhinos, they breed very slowly, they grow very slowly. Cows, like you, within a year, you have from 2 cows, you can go up to 10, 20. It just depends on how much the cow births, or how much she carries. I don't know what to call it. But cows, and then if you come to a rhino, they maybe have 2 babies at a time. Same with elephants, they have 1, maybe 2 babies at a time. It's normally just 1, and they take, I think, something like 2 to 3 years to fully grow, something like that. So the larger animals, sure, it's more meat, but it also takes longer. You can't farm as quickly with them. So
I'm really glad I got a former farmer to help me debate that specific part. But yeah, I really like that point that how some animals are just more adept to be farmed and
yeah,
herding animals, grazing animals. And no, elephants, they are absolutely, I would say elephants are an intelligent species. They have been recorded like reacting to human emotions as well. But
I think they're like
yeah.
one of the few species that can actually recognize their own reflection as well, which is
Yeah.
crazy. Other species, like, have you ever put a mirror in front of your dog or cat? They're either scared or they try and attack it, or they're like bamboozled. They don't know what to do. Where elephants can recognize it's themselves and they feel themselves, and they're like, wow, this is crazy.
Elephants have facial recognition, they can remember humans, whereas dogs generally tend to prefer recognizing their people by our body odors and scent.
Yeah.
Which I think that makes both intelligent. But we have gone on about intelligence for like 18 minutes now.
Yeah. Sorry, I went
which
off
is a lot
on a
longer.
very ramble.
No,
a very long ramble
I really
there.
like that. I would like to say that bringing this point up, I still don't condone eating dogs and dolphins, and in no way what I said reflects my image on how people should be treated.
Yeah, like I said, I don't condone the killing of animals at all, unless it's, like I said, for survival. That's the only, like, to preserve a life, even if it means food, or whether it means the animal is attacking you and you have to defend yourself. Like, there is, that's my only thoughts on that. Like, don't kill animals. But since we were talking about intelligence, can I point you in the direction of something that lacks all sense of intelligence?
Oh, please let me hear it.
So, I was scrolling on TikTok. I know it's void of intelligence, but I saw this one live of, like, a live stream video of a guy that said, "The earth is flat, debate me." And my goodness, I was curious. Like, it piqued my curiosity because I saw the guy, like, sitting there looking all, like, smug. He knows what the truth is and all that. And he does not know how to debate. His entire debate was, he gets somebody on, right? As soon as they give him a point that he can't argue with, he's like, "What the drug is this guy on? He's smoking crack. He should not be doing that." And then he immediately kicks him out of the stream. As soon as somebody brings up a point that he can't argue with. And then, like, whenever somebody asks him a question, he throws around all of these big words that mean nothing. Like, he probably opened up a dictionary and was like, "Oh, this word seems nice because it has, like, 10 syllables in it. I'm gonna use this word." and then he uses it, and then the guy is confused because the words don't fit into the context that he's speaking. And man, oh man, was I getting frustrated with this guy. Like, it's impossible to win a debate against a guy whose only defense is, you're high, I'm gonna kick you. Or, you don't understand this word, I'm gonna kick you. Instead of explaining anything.
Yeah, but that's about the only defense that a flat earther would have after the flat earth theory has been debunked for hundreds of years.
And here's another thing that whenever you ask him to, so here's one instance. So a guy joined and he's like, do you believe in the satellites that are in orbit? And he's like, yes. And then the guy is, but then he's like, but he does not believe they're being held up there by whatever magical forces science explains. And then he's like, oh, okay, so what do you think they're being held up with? And then his defense was, I don't know. That was it.
What a solid defense. I am going to cry a little.
I've never been so furious in my life. And whenever somebody else says, I don't know, they're immediately wrong. But when he says, I don't know, it doesn't matter. And the worst part was there were some people in his chat being like, I don't know if they were trolling or what they were doing, but it was like, whatever the guy's name was, WW, whenever he did something, I was like, what is this? Is this? It makes sense why 50% of the population's below average IQ, okay? So, yeah, that was my only thing. I just had to get it off my chest because I hate flat earth. No, not hate, but
I strongly hate them. I'm going to come out and say it. I will come out and say it. I love my space things. I love my astronomical bodies. I love these heavenly spheres that orbit suns and shit. And I will say it. I fucking hate flat earthers.
Man, I was furious, like my blood was boiling and it's starting to boil again. So yeah, I just brought that little quick thing to the podcast. I see you still have a lot of stuff to discuss.
Yeah. Now that we talked about the opposite of intelligence, let me take you to the other
pinnacle.
What?
To the pinnacle of intelligence?
Yeah, the pinnacle of intelligence. The uppermost fucking greatest, smartest man I've ever seen.
Hey, we're gonna talk about me for a minute. Yay!
No. Let me introduce you to Vermin Supreme. Full name, Vermin Love Supreme.
Ooh.
He is an American politician who is actually a performer and entirely bases himself around satire in the political state. Now, he has ran for a president of the United States of America 6 times. I will put a photo of Mr. Supreme, if I can find a nice one. Here we go. I will put a photo of Mr. Supreme in the Discord for you to look at.
Let's go.
While I say this, in 2004 he ran as a Republican. In 2008 he ran as a Republican. 2012 through 2016, he ran as a Democrat. In 2020, he ran as a Libertarian, and in 2024, he is now running again as a Democrat.
Let's go. Well, he's got my vote. Okay, now tell me.
Currently,
tell me more of him.
He currently is in 5th place with 0.7% of the Democratic vote for New Hampshire. Now, one of Vermin Supreme, obviously, I feel the need to point this out because before someone actually takes him seriously, he is a performer and he takes on a satirical position in the, United States of America's political climate. He is actively performing as Vermin Supreme. But that being said, for the rest of this topic, I'm going to take him entirely seriously and consider him a valid presidential candidate. My first point for voting for Vermin Supreme, Mr. Vermin Supreme, is his right to pony. Now, he believes that all Americans should have the right to a pony, and he says if he is elected president, every American in the United States of America will receive a pony. If that isn't enough to get you on board, here's some more. When asked on his position on abortion and reproductive health, he said that he firmly believes every fetus must be required to give his full consent before being born.
Man, this guy has got it figured out.
He has it. This man, Vermin Love Supreme, vote for him during the 2024 United States presidential election, and he will give you free ponies, and he will make sure that no child is born
without their consent.
So no child is born. Anyway, I think this guy's great. I love what he's doing. I absolutely love that he's just putting a boot on his head, and I don't know, man. It's funny and I love it.
Okay, so I have seen him before. I didn't know it was real. I honestly thought it was an AI generated video of him speaking at some rally or meeting or something, and it looked like there's a bunch of official people sitting there. And then I just see this guy with a boot on his head, and I was like, no way this is real. This is AI generated or some skit or something. Just to find out that it's real. Okay, so it is satire, but I mean, it is so good. I love him.
He's also part of the Legal Marijuana Now party, where he placed 4th as president for the Legal Marijuana Now party with 15% of the votes.
That is crazy that he actually got that many votes.
I only know one thing. If I was a United States citizen, I would be voting for Vermin Supreme.
One day, the next, maybe not this election, but the next one, he's gonna come out on top. I feel it in my bones.
Absolutely.
Whatever happened to Kanye running for president?
I think, Kanye lost his contract with Adidas, which effectively meant Kanye lost $1.5 billion in one day.
The president doesn't need money. He needs people.
No, he definitely needs money. Like a lot of money.
True. No, Kanye is only a joke. he went a bit off the rails. The mental health issues. We can't have a president ruling one of the strongest countries in the world.
That didn't stop Trump. Anyway, let's break the political climate with a little bit of an interjection with our mid-podcast segment. Videos, movies and TV show recommendations.
Let's go.
I believe it is your turn to go first.
Man, so I've just been watching Heroes for the past week. I've not watched anything else yet, but let me think of something that I can remember in recent history. You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm going to be recommending The Batman. Yes, Robert Pattinson's Batman. And this is, and I dare say it, my favorite Batman movie ever. At first, I was skeptical, because this is Robert Pattinson from Twilight playing Batman. Then I was like, okay, he's got experience playing bats, but then I realized that's a different story. But despite my skepticism, I loved everything about the Batman. I can talk for probably 2 hours about the soundtrack alone, how it builds up and really conveys his stubbornness in his own ways, and how he just refuses to stop what he's doing, no matter how much he gets hurt or everyone else gets hurt, because he truly believes that he is vengeance and he is the only way to bring justice to Gotham City. That the soundtrack really pushes that idea forward. The Nirvana song, Something in the Way, fits the vibe absolutely and really well. And then the plot line. We have the Riddler, who is one of Batman's, in the comics, most flamboyant and goofy villains ever. Up there with Calendar Man. Now, this movie takes the Riddler and puts him in a very realistic position. A man who's had enough. Just enough. A man who has high intelligence, topical, who has had enough and has the ability to push his radical ideas on another group of extremists and get people to really rally behind him, doing everything he can in his own twisted mind to lead the Batman on. All the while knowing that the Batman will be one step behind. The plot's amazing. I really like the characters and how they did the characters. It is comic book accurate. This Pattinson, I believe, portrays a much more younger version of Batman. This is when he decided he is going to be Batman, and this is all he does. I really like how they did the Batmobile, how they did Carmine Falcone, John Turturro, amazing actor. Even Gordon. Jim Gordon, he was done very well as a police officer that tries to be true to his oath as a police officer, but all the while helping Batman, because he too believes that Batman is Gotham's Dark Knight, their savior. And I really like the almost political, once again, I guess we're not breaking the political climate, the really political messages it is sending about corrupt governments and people breaking under the pressure of those corrupt governments, only creating a even darker cesspool while the rich stay rich and the poor get poorer, creating this extreme divide in class that leads to the build-up of these extreme characters. And the movie does a great job portraying this. I think, honestly, I can say Robert Pattinson did a great job portraying the Batman, or Vengeance, as he calls himself in this one, which is also cool. They somehow managed to make I Am Vengeance not cringe. But yeah, I'm recommending The Batman. If you have not seen The Batman, where the fuck are you? Under a rock? Come on.
So, I haven't seen it entirely. I think I've watched the first 10 minutes and I was like, I can't take this seriously, not with this guy playing the Batman. And yeah, I just couldn't get into it. But yeah, I'll maybe give it another shot, because I heard it was good, but you know, like I said, I just couldn't get over the fact that the Twilight guy is playing Batman.
It is. I can't blame you for that. It is Robert Pattinson.
I mean, if I think of Batman, I think of this, like, not bodybuilder big guy, but I think of not a string bean playing Batman, okay? that is...
That's the thing, though. I saw some, like, actual fitness trainers analyzing Robert Pattinson's body build for this movie, and they say it's probably the most accurate superhero body that we'll ever see in a movie, because the way his muscles are structured, according to them, are the type of muscles you only get from doing stuff like rigorous military exercises made for endurance, not endurance and strength, not for looking good.
It's and still that's a superhero show, and the superheroes, even though Batman has no superpowers in all of his depictions, he's always this like beefy guy. Okay, he's quite a beefy guy, and that's the image I have of Batman in my head. All the games, all the movies, all the shows, all of them, it's this beefy guy, not a skinny guy. And I know it's not accurate, like, but yeah, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, but that's where, even putting that aside, we can like curb your imagination a little. This is why I put it apart from the other Batman iterations, where those iterations of Batman appear to be much more older and already experienced, by saying that Robert Pattinson's Batman is a very much younger version of Batman. He is a bit immature even in the way he acts. He's impulsive. He doesn't think things through as thoroughly as people would portray Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give it another shot. It's a 2-hour-long movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll definitely go give it another shot at some point. But let me get into mine. So, it's not a singular movie, it's actually a trilogy of movies. And I don't know what to call the trilogy. I'm just gonna call it the Glass Trilogy. Have you ever heard of...
Oh, yes.
So...
Yes, with James McAvoy.
I'm not
it's
sure.
It's Unbreakable. Oh, it's Glass, Split, and Unbreakable with James McAvoy and Samuel Jackson. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
So, it's a three-part movie, basically. It's the first one is Unbreakable. It's Bruce Willis, and what's his name, the motherfucker
Which
guy.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson. Sorry, you know me with names. So Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, and it is like a superpower heroes type of deal, but it's on a lot smaller scale. It's not like Avengers or DC type powers. It's like the guy is very intelligent, or he just has like more strength than a regular person, like where the things he can do is basically that of a very strong bodybuilder, like, or a very strong muscle man, like somebody who spent their life in the gym. But this guy just has that power, even though it doesn't look like it. And yeah, so it follows their story, and then there's another character which is just like, so it's Unbreakable is the first movie. It's about Bruce Willis. He discovers he has this power of not being able to get hurt easily, and he's stronger. Then Mr. Glass shows up, who's played as by Samuel L. Jackson. He's a super intelligent guy. He believes people's genes are evolving and, or not evolving, but it's like comic books had to have been written based off something, and he believes people are out there with powers. He discovers him and he tries to turn him into a hero, and it follows their story. Now, the second movie, it came out 16 years after the first one, and it's called Split, which follows, what's this guy's name? Yeah, James McAvoy. That's the guy you were talking about. It follows his story. He has, what's it called? Split personality disorder. And
no, dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah. So he has a bunch of identities in his body, and eventually all of the identities are scared of something that's going to happen when a new identity emerges, which is also like not based in reality. It's still a superhero show, but it's not crazy like big scale stuff like Marvel or DC stuff. And then the final one, Glass, which follows the story of all three of them after the events of the first two movies, which it just has a nice wrap up, and it sort of left it open for a sequel, but we haven't gotten a sequel yet. So yeah, it's just a fun trilogy if you just want to watch something interesting. It's different, I would say. And I want to add, I know not everyone is a fan of him, but the director was M. Night Shyamalan, which some of his stuff really good, some of his stuff not that good, but this was pretty good.
Very nice. I actually haven't seen those movies, but I want to. It is on my watch list.
All three of them are good, but my favorite is still Split. The actor, what's his name? James McAvoy. He is a brilliant actor. Like,
oh, absolutely.
He is. I think the Split and Glass movies put him in one of my like top actors of all time, just with the range of like accents, voices, and all of these things that he can do, and do them without you noticing that it's like fake, you know what I mean? Like some acting you can tell it's fake, but this guy is honestly, it's crazy what he did in those movies. And yeah, Split, one of, I don't want to say one of my favorite movies. It's up there though. It's such a good movie. So I would definitely recommend, even if you don't watch the trilogy, if you just watch Split, great movie.
for those of you who might not know James McAvoy from Unbreakable, Split or Glass, you may know him as Professor Charles Xavier from the X-Men franchise.
Yeah, that too.
Which is
not
another time he played a crazy bald guy.
Not the old that's X-Men movies, the newer ones. One?
Yeah, that's
two?
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
is the old X-Men. Yeah, they are the newer ones. With the time travel bullshit. Yeah, that would be James McAvoy.
Yeah. Also, sorry guys if the mic is a bit noisy. It just started raining really hard.
Well, there you have it, folks. There's your media digest for the week.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So, we've spoken about everything about movies and media and flat earth and all of that. Now I'm interested about the Kentucky meat shower.
Oh yeah, first I wanted to say something regard just a short anecdote. Last week when we were playing Total War and I said the worst thing that could ever happen with a Dorito just happened to me?
Oh yeah. What was that?
So the worst thing that could possibly happen while eating a Dorito. I chomped down on my delicious flaming hot nacho cheese Dorito. And the tip of the triangular chip was jammed in between my tooth and my gum. It got stuck, lodged in between and broke off between my tooth and my gum. And it felt horrible.
How do you always get these food-related incidents?
You'd think after like 19 years of living that I would have figured out how to eat. I have not.
Man.
Drinking too, I still cough when I drink water.
You sure it's water, not vodka?
Not always.
Man. Well, that was a quick one.
Yeah, now let's get on to where we blend reality and fiction by bringing you the Kentucky meat shower. Bath County, Kentucky. March 3rd, 1876. Between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. About 2 by 2 inches, more or less, cubes of meat fell from the sky. Now, this phenomenon was first encountered by Mrs. Crouch, who was making soap on her porch when she reported seeing meat fall from the sky. And she and her husband believed this was a sign from God. Similar events were later reported in Europe as well, where the event started being covered by scientists. Okay, so there were people who tasted it. First, the meat appeared to be beef. Then, 2 men who tasted it judged it to be lamb or deer. Then, Leopold Brandel's writing in the Sanitarian, they identified the substance as nostoc, which is a type of greenish cyanobacteria found in aquatic and terrestrial environments. I'm just gonna put a photo here of nostoc, so that people see how the confusion comes, which I cannot see from the photos I saw. I don't see how that could be confused to be meat. But I don't know, maybe it was red.
What?
And then, in a letter from Dr. Alan McLean, appearing in the medical records, stated that the meat had been identified as lung tissue from either a horse or a human infant. Then, another analysis was run in a lab, with two meat being some samples of the meat being identified as lung tissue, either from a horse or a human infant, muscle tissue, or cartilage.
Man.
And now the almost not entirely but accepted explanation is that vultures vomited their food onto the ground as they flew, because vultures vomit up their stomach as part of a defensive mechanism when threatened. How would they be threatened when up in the air? Who knows? But that is the Kentucky meat shower of Bath County, which I must say, that is some biblical shit. Just meat raining from the sky.
Yeah, it's just cloudy with a chance of meatballs, man.
Oh, you're right. They already covered this in a children's animated movie. Damn, never mind.
Oh no, man, this is some weird things, but what's the chance? So, nostoc, as you said, is from water, right? And
Yeah.
there have been instances where it rained like fish and frogs in areas. And I can't remember what the explanation was, but there was some sort of explanation to it, why it would just start raining fish.
Yeah.
So what if the same thing that happened with like the fish falling out from the sky happened to just take this nostoc stuff instead of the fish, and that was what was raining down? And you said it was in the 1800s, right?
1876.
Okay, so I can't speak for the scientists back then. They might have been like top of their class, like best scientists ever, but maybe they misidentified it. I mean, people could make mistakes, and
Oh yeah, no, they used mercury to treat a cold. Liquid mercury injected into your skin, killing you almost like excruciatingly. They used that to treat a fever, so they could just be wrong.
yeah, which is why I'm saying like maybe it was just the same phenomenon as when fish rain from the sky. It's not a common thing, but it has been, I think a couple instances have been recorded in like the last, I don't know, like 20 years or something.
It is Kentucky though, which is like Midwest, so they're not even near an ocean.
Well, there's lakes, there's big bodies of water, like can this nostoc only form in the ocean?
No. It could just be on the ground.
Yeah, and yeah, it's not always near an ocean. I don't even think those cases of where fish were raining, it was near the ocean either. I could be wrong. I can't remember. I watched like a documentary on this like years ago, but I remember there was some explanation to it. Don't ask me what. My memory is still horrendous, but I do have that memory. But that's just my theory. Maybe it was an act of God, but if they mistook this green sludge for meat, yeah, I am terrified of what people were eating back then.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the Kentucky meat shower.
And that was pretty epic.
And unless you have another thing to bring to the table, I believe it is time for everyone's favorite weekly segment, video game suggestions.
Ooh, okay. I think...
You want to go first this time?
I'll go first, because it's a suggestion. Helldivers 2. I know. Everybody's already playing it. It's already a big game. And I'm just falling in with the masses. But I was just bored one night or morning. And I was just looking for a fun shooter for a bit. And I decided I'm gonna try Helldivers 2. If I don't like it, I'm gonna refund it. Simple as that. Because I was not planning on playing this game. And I mean, it's good. It hasn't like caught me in a way that it's like I have to play this thing 24/7 like I want to. It's a nice like shut your brain off, shoot a bunch of stuff, big explosions, spread democracy and liberate liberate everything, okay? And by spreading democracy I mean just blowing things up, killing things like bugs and robots, and that's pretty fun. It's just senseless action, you know. You don't have to think about it. There's no strategy. There is a little bit of strategy involved, but it's mostly just like, damn, that's a big ass explosion. So yeah, it's a pretty fun game. It's not the best game I've ever recommended, but yeah, fun.
Yeah, I do not have the game, so yeah, take his word for it.
Yeah, it's an alright game. It's fun to just, like I said, shut your brain off, shoot some things. Big explosion, neuron activated.
Very nice. That sounds like a shooter game, alright. I'm in. If I'm being honest, the game looked like a Destiny ripoff. Apparently it's not, so that's good.
Yeah, it's not. You know me, I would not play Destiny. Or, what's the other game that's like Destiny? You're gonna tell me it's not, but to me they're the same game, but Warframe.
It's not like Destiny.
They're the same game in my eyes. They're like almost exact copies, okay? Warframe is the free Destiny.
I don't see how that opinion could exist, but you know, you're part of the bottom 50%, so I get it. We gotta protect our disabled friends, right?
I mean, you're there with me.
I'm gonna go to the opposite end of the spectrum. This is
You're still on the spectrum, buddy.
No, we passed that. I'm talking about the video game suggestion spectrum.
Right.
This game I found on Steam's Next Fest, which, and if you don't know what Next Fest is, it's a bunch of indie game developers, like showing off their game and streaming their game and releasing demos of their game so you can try it out. And if you like the game they put out, you wishlist it, and that would give the indie game developers a bit more, like, recognition and sometimes even more funding if they have a publisher and they get really good wishlist numbers. This game in question is probably the game I am most excited for 2024, and it is called Star Trucker. Oh yes, baby. And it is exactly what you think it is. Ever heard of Euro Truck Simulator? Well, now you can do that in fucking space. You do not understand how excited I am to put on some music and just haul cargo in a space semi-truck. I played the demo, it's really fun. There's a few bugs, but it is a demo of an early access game. The game's not out. It says planned release date 2024, and I could not be more excited for it. It's got a lot of intuitive things like a skill tree where you unlock new jobs. If you take damage, you need to put on your spacesuit, go outside, fix the ship. You need, well, space truck. You need to manage your fuel consumption and your electric consumption. Various different cargo missions, like speed missions or safety, like slower missions. And I think this is exactly what I wanted this year. I played Star Citizen. You know, I played Star Citizen.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do, honestly, was like drive a big spaceship around and just haul cargo. And now this is like a dedicated game for one of my most relaxing things I've ever done. So there you go. Star Trucker, everybody.
Just Star Citizen, isn't that a big scam? Like, didn't it come out to be a big scam?
No, it might as well be a big scam, but at the end of the day, it's not really. Nobody like came out and said, "Oh, it's a big scam. Everyone's money got stolen." No, it's still using the money that the fucking millions of dollars it's acquired to very slowly eke out a game.
Yeah, that's what's
Maybe
going on
in
with
about
it. Like, they have millions of dollars, but not really the game to show for it.
Yeah. Maybe in 30 years they will finally say, okay, we finished Star Citizen, and it would be like the next generation of super games, but right now it's a bit boring, but it's fun. I will say I do enjoy the game.
That's just
It's
because
very
you're
buggy.
a sci-fi nerd.
That is also true. It's very buggy though. My one issue with Star Citizen is that it's very buggy. But in the last couple of years, I can say that if you play Star Citizen now, it feels like a game instead of like a beta test. Except for all the bugs.
Alright. Well, I'm not planning on playing Star Tracker. I'm sorry, that's not my type of game.
The suggestion isn't for you. It's for people of quality.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll stay in my brain dead ways. Big explosion, make monkeys.
Bugs and robots. I'm gonna go Star Truck.
Big explosion, make monkey brain go. Woo! No. Yeah, I think that's it for today's episode. You have any last words? I'm not. That's just not a threat. It's just a outro.
Well, thank you all for watching. This has been the Bozone with Tristan and Zek. You can find our social medias on our YouTube page, or you can go to Instagram and Twitter, search for Legit Bozone, that is LEGIT Bozone, or email us at legitbozones@gmail.com, same spelling. To everyone on Spotify, thank you for listening. Everyone on YouTube, thank you for listening too. I hope you enjoy our little visuals that we have to keep your brain busy while you probably don't look at them. This has been The Bozone, episode 8, and see you in the next episode.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye.